This is the Jocko Underground Podcast number 158 with Echo Charles sitting across from me. EC, as they say.
One might say.
It's weird because I don't even say that. For somebody that
Really?
only say it. I only say it here.
Yeah.
It's not like I see you and I'm like, EC, what up?
Yeah.
Do I?
Every once in a while, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, it's something that I don't really recognize.
Okay, all good.
Nonetheless, EC is here.
Right here.
Echo Charles. We're going to get some questions from the people, and we will provide courses of action or answers to the best of our ability. Let's get to it.
All right, first question. Hi. I live in Europe, in Poland, and the developments here don't look great for the longer-term future. With U.S. support faltering and the war across the border, we are concerned that the peaceful time we had here over the last decades will come to an end in a few years. I want to be prepared for that. So I was wondering if you could address the topic of how civilians should prepare for a situation when their country is actually being attacked and they have to fight, support, or flee from learning essential skills. From learning essential skills to shooting or first aid or getting the right equipment, etc.
Well, first of all, Poland, I had the honor of working alongside the Polish GROM a bunch in Iraq, my first deployment, and they're freaking outstanding soldiers. And so the Polish military is just freaking squared away. Obviously, did a lot of missions with them, had Drago there as our liaison interpreter, and just the guys were awesome. So, yeah, Poland's awesome. I would say, first of all, I would join some kind of reserve unit. Do they have a reserve unit you can join, or like a territorial unit or a homeland defense unit, something like that, where you can actually join some branch of, in America, we call it reserves. So the reserves are in America. You train 1 weekend a month, or you go to boot camp and you get a military specialty, and then you become a reservist. And so you do 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summertime. They call it drill, where you go out and you refresh your skills and all that. But it also means that sometimes reserve units get recalled and they go and fight. So that happened a lot during the 2 decades of war that we just fought. And, as I've talked about before, we got to Ramadi, and the people on the ground, the majority of them were, when we got there, were reserve, National Guard unit. So if you can, I would join some kind of reserve or territorial or homeland defense unit if possible. Or maybe they have some kind of voluntary brigade or something like that. So that's number one. Number two, what do you want to learn? What do you want to get good at? Well, first of all, I would say make sure you have rations, right? Make sure you got food and water, like supplies that can last. And then that also would include like hunting and farming supplies so you can last for an extended period of time. Make sure you got access to some kind of well water or water purification scenario. So make sure that's squared away. Medical, get good supplies for medical, get some reserve drugs. It's no big deal when we get an infection right now, because you go to the pharmacy and you get what is it called? Antibiotic. Yeah. And all of a sudden that thing that was turning red on your arm from a little cut goes away and it's fine. If you don't have that, you could lose your freaking arm. So make sure you have a good supply of kind of common drugs that might be needed, and then get some basic trauma training, which you can get. You can find that online. You can find it on YouTube. You can find books, because trauma care has changed a lot in the last 20 years, 25 years, since we were at war for so long, and we had really good advancements in technology and education, understanding, stop the bleeding, all those things. So that's a medical thing. Weapons, of course, get weapons. And I'm not sure about what the laws are in Poland, but get weapons, get rifles, some kind of battle rifles where you can utilize those. Try and get common ones that you can use with common ammunition. Don't get some random weird caliber weapon that only uses some specialized ammunition. No, get the most common one you can get. In America, that's like a .308, right? Or a .556, I guess, is probably the most common thing. Just get the most common type of ammunition, get the weapons, and then get some spare parts and get some tools so you can work on those things. And then learn your basic get your basic weapons training, get your marksmanship, get your battle drills, and just train to be a good shot. I would go into and look at some basic kind of sabotage and insurgency tactics, right? Just simple sabotage, breaking things, target analysis, improvised demolitions. So you can kind of learn how we can stop a tank, how we can mess up the generator that the enemy's using, how we can mess up their supply system, like all those things. So all those things are good, but I think most important is to plan and organize with your neighbors, right? So actually all your neighbors, you should all have the same weapons type system, right? Same weapons platform. And organize with your neighbors and have a plan. And so part of that plan is going to be movement for your family to get, whatever part of your family is not going to stay and fight. You got kids, you got elderly, you got women that are not going to stay and fight. Well, have a plan to get them to a safe area. And then if the men are going to stay and fight, okay, now this is who we're left with. Have a little militia activity. It's a good thing. And then you're just ready to resist if necessary. And the thing is, with all the stuff that I just said, Echo, let me ask you a question. Everything that I just said, did it sound like fun or not fun?
It sounded like fun to me.
I mean, obviously, being invaded is not fun.
No.
But as far as just doing these activities, it's kind of fun.
Yes.
My point in saying that is all the stuff for preparedness. It actually is a good way to hang out with your neighbors, hang out with your family, teach your family stuff, have your family become more unified, have your family learn good life skills, right? So not just when you're waiting for war, you should know how to tourniquet someone's arm, but just in life, there's car accidents, there's hunting accidents, there's industrial accidents. You got to learn some basic medical skills. So I think all this stuff, if you just make it kind of part of what you do, sometimes families, they go camping, right? Well, cool. Make the camping also include land navigation and give a little bit of medical drills. And by the way, let's go to the range on the way there and we'll just make sure all of our weapons are battle zeroed. Just little things like that to unify your family. And then if you have a little shooting competition with your neighbors and the little militia group that you form. So
sure.
I think, that kind of thing will be helpful. It will help you not only, of course, in the unfortunate event that you actually get invaded, but more important, it's good just for unifying the family and unifying the neighborhood. So, and all that being said, I mean, Russia is utilizing a massive amount of men and material right now in their war with Ukraine. So I do not believe that Russia would think about attacking Poland. I'm not saying that they couldn't, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be prepared for it, and I'm not saying you should be complacent about it. But they're in a very difficult fight right now, and spending a lot of, like I said, a lot of men and material are being utilized there. So that's what I got. But these things help you in life, make you better as people, make you more resilient. That's what I got. And thanks to the military of Poland, and especially thanks to the Polish Grom. You guys are freaking outstanding.
Are there how you have when you're a kid, there's Cub Scouts and Eagles, Boy Scouts, stuff like that. Is there an adult version of that? Not necessarily
it's called the National Guard in America. Join the reserves.
Right, but that's that's different than what I'm talking about. Because you're
what's different? You join the Boy Scouts.
Right, but
and then you get trained on how to do stuff.
Right, but National Guard, you're essentially in the National Guard.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, when you join the Boy Scouts, you're in the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, but okay. Let's say something a little bit more privatized. How about that?
Okay.
Is there? Do you know? And I don't mean a whole thing. You know how so you can take gun training courses, right?
Yep.
Gun, and then can you take? Actually, yeah, you can, because I have taken a first aid course, but it was required to get this other certification I was going for.
What certification are you going for?
To
personal trainer?
No.
Weren't you a personal trainer for a while?
Yeah.
In Hawaii?
No, here.
Okay.
Yeah. In my early days, it expired though.
So what you're saying is is there a private course you could take?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's all kinds of those things out there.
Yeah, I haven't. But like so first aid, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, like just all the stuff that you're talking about, like land navigation, for example. Can I go take a land navigation as an adult?
Absolutely. They used to do, they stopped it all, but they used to do that kind of stuff like at REI. You know what REI is?
Yeah. Wait, the sports store?
Yeah. Okay. They used to have like weekend outings and you could learn land nav or you could learn backpacking 101.
Bro,
but they canceled them.
Say it like that, bro.
Because if you want to learn it, just join the National Guard.
Well, but then you join the National Guard. So wait. So if you join the National Guard, and of course I'm saying cool,
Bro,
but
I could get you in.
But could you join the? I mean, think about, and I mean you with your schedule.
I might be too old right now to join the National Guard. I'm not 100% sure.
Am I too old?
Yes, maybe. How old are you?
6 years younger than you. We'll just say that.
So I'm 53. How old are you?
47.
47? Check. Yeah, I think you might be too old.
All right, bro. So I can't. So I can join the National Guard. I don't know land nav like you know land nav. Where can I learn? See what I'm saying? Yeah. Not REI anymore.
Well, you could also form up a militia.
Okay.
And then once you form a militia, then you got some experts in there. Like Jocko's going to teach land nav to our militia group. You know.
Yeah, and that's cool and that's good, And as of right now, that's my best option, unless there is like a land or a spot where I can learn. See what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I'm asking.
What would you name your militia group, Echo Charles?
Charles First Militia, yeah, because it's my first militia I ever formed.
There you go.
There you go. But because every time, the only reason I ask, or the other reason I ask, is that when you go through all these things, these scenarios, like even when you're talking about like, when you go camp at Yosemite and then you do all these exercises, I'm like, some of this stuff, like I don't really know. I grew up on Kauai, so I'll teach them how to body surf in some waves. Yeah. We'll do that kind of stuff, but
spearfishing.
Yeah, maybe, and we'll make some slingshots. Oh hell yeah, But that all this kind of more better, cooler, more useful stuff here. A lot of that stuff I don't know yet. Yeah. And I'm old school.
Yeah, the military is very cool. To just give you all that background. Like one of the things I rattled off, I was kind of thinking of, like, to your point, I'm rattling off like a bunch of stuff like improvised demolitions. Yeah. It's kind of like that's, we take a little course on improvised demolitions and how to make them. And it's funny, we've been teaching that stuff for so long now. And you're like, that's just how. Check.
Yeah. I think that too a lot of time when you'll casually mention certain stuff. I was like, bro, you guys learn a lot of cool stuff.
Oh yeah. Like, bro, I went to a school where I learned lock picking and car stealing.
So funny. So
cool. I was just how cool is that?
Yeah, literally just gonna say it. So Cake Nuts, right? He's retired now. So he was like telling me, him and Jeremy, they were laughing. They're like, yeah, Cake Nuts, he does good in all these schools that he went to, like sniper school, like all these schools he does so well in. But lock picking, he was like the worst guy in the class.
Lock picking's hard. And just like anything else in SEAL training, like out of 100 guys, there's going to be some guy that's going to really suck at pistol. There's going to be some guy that really sucks at rifle. There's going to be some guy that really sucks at drown proofing. But occasionally, lockpicking is one of those things where there's occasionally going to be some people that are just going to suck at it.
Yeah. But I remember thinking, like, when they were saying that, that wasn't the point I took for it. The point was like, bro, they do all these cool little things, and this guy's rolling around with all these cool skills. He can pick.
It sucks too. Well, lock picking is something. It's like playing guitar. Like you have to practice to get good at it and maintain the skill. The guy that taught us was so good. He would walk up to a door in a street and like put his back to the wall, put his hands behind the back, like he was just standing there, like he was leaning up. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.